Welcome to Finance Series with Oyekemi Ajayi. It is a great pleasure to connect with you. I am going to be talking about common mistakes in financial storytelling. Very interesting topic, right? You'd agree with me that even smart professionals fall short when communicating financial information. And it is not because they don't have the right skills or the right technical skills, but it's just because they assume numbers speak for themselves. But in reality, financial storytelling breaks down when the message is unclear, when it is overwhelming, when people get disconnected, especially your target audience, where they get disconnected, it breaks down completely. Now, the most common mistakes happen when people focus too much on data and very little on bringing out insights from the data, little focus on interpretation, providing context, and also a narrative that gives data meaning. Now, these missteps can cause stakeholders to either misunderstand the situation, they can lose confidence in the young professional that is communicating, or even miss critical opportunities that they need to act very quickly on. And this is a new year, this is 2026. You need to take hold of every opportunity that you have. So recognizing this pitfall is the first step towards presenting numbers with clarity, with impact, and also ensuring leadership presence. What are the common mistakes in financial storytelling? The first is drowning people in data. A lot of young professionals believe that more data is equal to clearer messages, but that's wrong. More data is not the same as clearer message. The second point is reporting without insights. People think professionals would read numbers, but you need to avoid just simply reading numbers from slides. You need to bring in insights. The third point is no clear point of view. A lot of professionals just put in the numbers there and that's it. But you need to ensure that you have a clear point of view. You understand even the data that you are trying to communicate. And the final point is ignoring the emotional impact of numbers. If we are talking about maybe potential job cuts, losses, or cash issues, or cash needs in a business, there are certain emotions that are backed by these things. So you need to be able to understand how to communicate it correctly to your stakeholders. Not saying that you should sweep it under the carpet, and I'm not saying that you should, not communicate it rightly. But what I'm saying is that there is a way in which you communicate the need for cash flows in a business. There is a way you can communicate losses, especially if the losses have been recurring over time, and pointing out the need for management to take strategic measures to either reduce those losses or consider other measures that can help to improve the business. Now let's look at practical examples. An example of poor storytelling. So you come and you say our revenue was 3.2 billion in 2025 compared to 2.8 billion in 2024. Cost increased by 10% and profit after tax dropped from 400 million to 350 million. You've communicated, yes, but it is dry and there's no direction. We don't even know, there's no insight in what you are saying. Now let's look at an example with strong storytelling. We grew revenue by 14% in 2025. This was mainly driven by customer expansion in the northern part of the country. However, inflation pushed operating costs up by 10%, which strained our profitability, and as a result, profitability fell by 50 million. To protect margins next year, we must increase pricing in selected product lines and possibly accelerate our cost efficiency program. Now, when you look at this, it is clearer, there's more insight, and there are actionable steps. It takes me back to the framework: data, insights, consequence, and action. If you have not listened to that series, I encourage you to please go and listen to that series where I spoke about the framework for financial storytelling. And finally, let's look at building your personal style as a financial storyteller. Every professional that prepares a report or a presentation is a financial storyteller. Well, maybe not necessarily a financial person, but you are telling a story with data. Now, you can develop your own signature style through various means. The first is your tone, a calm, confident, and precise tone, or your pace, where you do not rush, you let numbers breathe. The third point can be structured thinking, where you always follow through a clear path. The fourth is empathy. You acknowledge human impact. And the final one is credibility, where you have based insights on evidence. Over time, your audience will begin to rely on you, not just for your numbers, but also for direction. I assure you that if you adopt this framework, data, insight, consequence, and action, you will see better improvement. Your stakeholders will be able to relate with your message well because they understand what you are trying to communicate, and you drive action, and direction for the business. I hope this has been very helpful. I hope you've been able to learn one or two things that would help you the next time that you are making your presentation, your proposal, or telling a story with data. Thank you for your time. Thank you once again, and have a great one.